Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to the Chappelle Show. In today's episode, we are going to be doing a scouting report on Jaden Springer. He is a shooting guard out of Tennessee, wears number 11, and he is a prospect that I am a big fan of. But before we get into all of that, if you are new to the channel, please like and subscribe. It would make my day. Other YouTuber shit that I have to say to get subs because reasons, and apparently it reminds people to subscribe. So subscribe. Please. So the first thing I noticed about him is his potential. In all areas of his game, he shows a lot of potential to improve, and that's not to say that he's bad at anything. He does have areas where he struggles, and we'll get to those. But he's not necessarily bad at anything. He just can improve in a lot of areas, and that's a great thing. That's something you really want to look for in a prospect. So I really like the things that I've seen from him, and I would rank him high on my board. I'm not exactly sure. I might make a big board video eventually, but for now, no. But he is the favorite prospect that I have had the pleasure of seeing as far as the three that I've scouted goes. Josh Christopher, depending on the day, I would take him above Jaden Springer, but for now, nah. So anyways, what do I like about him? Well, the first things first, let's talk about his shooting, his offensive game. So shooting, he has a really good looking shot. He has great looking shot mechanics, and he looks comfortable shooting all of the time, which is a big thing. And I like what I've seen from him as far as his shot goes. He did not take a ton of three-point shots in college, but on the shots he did shoot, he made a good percentage of them. I believe it was 42 or 43%, somewhere in that zone, which is very, very, very good. And I don't particularly expect him to keep that up as far as the NBA goes. I don't expect him to shoot 43% from three, but I would be pretty confident in saying that I think he can shoot 38% from three in the NBA day one. And if he's a catch and shoot 3-point shooter, I wouldn't be shocked if he shot 40%. So yeah, I really like his potential for 3-point shooting. Not necessarily, I don't expect it to be great off the bat, but I think he could be a great shooter one day, and I think he could be a league average one coming into the NBA with maybe above average. And speaking of his shooting, I really like what I saw as far as his mid-range game goes. He operated a lot in that mid-range. From the film I watched, he was able to pull up a lot of contested shots and make them. He was able to create separation sometimes and get his shots in the bucket, which is a big thing, obviously, because that's the entire point of the fucking game. But yeah, I think that he could be someone who could be a scorer out of the pick and roll initially. I think he could, be a ball handler and get buckets in ISO, not particularly efficiently off the bat, but I think he could do that. And he has the potential to be a great ISO scorer one day. As far as other things, he runs the floor really well in transition. He is a very athletic player, so he uses that speed to get ahead of ahead of the defenders in transition, and there were multiple open buckets where he would just nail it home on a dunk or whatever, and that would be phenomenal in an offense next to Jokic. And I mean, his offensive game is really portable. He could play anywhere. Literally any team who drafts this guy, he can play for them. And he can be a bigger role, smaller role, whatever you want him to be. He will thrive in it. I believe that he will be really, really good for whatever team picks him. I really hope it's the Nuggets, but I mean, he can play anywhere. I want to make that very clear. He's a very portable player. He can play multiple roles. He can play anywhere. So, as far as his finishing goes, he uses his athleticism really well. He's very strong. There were times where he would post up at Tennessee. Keon Johnson did that as well. and he could be a very good post-up guard. If he got, smaller guards on him, I think I'm very confident in the fact that he could back him down and get an easy shot or two. I don't know how often it would happen because guards don't really post up much anymore. But Jamal Murray does that a little bit. I could see him doing a similar thing. He has some nice footwork in the post, and he is also just a strong guy. Like, he is a tank, and he could get, easy buckets that way. He has pretty solid finishing around the rim. He can finish through contact. He can sometimes create space. He does that pretty well. He does have an unorthodox handle. It is kind of like slow and fast at the same time. It's weird. It's not bad. It's just not something you normally see. His step back is a beaut. It's a great looking shot, or great looking step back. He shows promise moving off ball. I think that is part of the reason he's so portable, is because he doesn't need the ball in his hands to be a good off ball scorer. In my opinion, he showed a lot of willingness to move off ball. And the tape I watched, he showed a lot of flashes that he could be a great off ball scorer one day. It's certainly something he can work on, but I like the potential there for that. His shot selection is a little questionable. He settled a lot and took a lot of contested shots when he could have passed it off to a teammate to get a better shot, or could have, taken it to the rack instead of settling for a mid-range jumper. But a lot of them did go in, but that is still something to keep an eye on. A lot of that has to do with the fact that he is young, and a lot of young players do that. I'm not too concerned about it. That's why he's still someone who I have a lot of faith in. A lot that could also be said about his playmaking. He showed some flashes of being a playmaker, but he is not one right now at all. He had a lot of questionable decision making, but again, that is a young player thing I want to emphasize. That is a lot of young players. It's not just him, so I expect him to iron those things out as his career goes on. I think he will be a smart player. As far as the defensive side of the ball goes, I like his upside there. I love his upside there. He's a very athletic player, uses his wingspan well. He does not get backed down. He is an ox in the post. He's very strong. He will not let his man get past him. Very Marcus Smart-esque on that aspect of it. He has a lot of hustle plays, makes those really well. He moves his feet well. He is a good rebounder for a guard. He keeps going and keeps at it for as long as that rebound is alive, both on offensive and defensive rebounds. And he uses his athleticism everywhere. He is a guy who I could see getting in passing lanes a lot. He is an athletic defender, very aggressive defender. I could see him locking people up in his rookie year. I really like what I saw from him there. One thing I will nitpick, he has a tendency to die on screens, then ignore the screener's man trying to switch, so that left a lot of people open for three. It happens sometimes, not a ton. Outside of, he just has a lot of defensive upside, and he's a good defender right now. He sticks with his guy well off ball, doesn't ball watch too often. I saw it happen a few times, but again, he's like 18, 19, so that's expected to happen. I just really like what I saw from him defensively. As far as where I expect him to be picked, probably in the 20s, but I would not bat an eye if he got picked top 10. I think that that would be a good pick. I could see him dropping to the second round. He has a wide range of where he could go, but I personally have him as a great prospect. I would draft him in the early first round, probably in the lottery. Mid to late lottery is where I would probably pick him. He is a raw-ish prospect, but he does have a lot of skill. He does have a skill set to build off of. He is someone who I could see being a great player one day and an elite role player from day one. He is someone who I'd love to see the Nuggets pick, and I just really like him. One more thing. he is a better off 2 leaper than off 1 foot. That could limit his usability as far as a leaper just a slight bit, but he's not a bad jumper off 1 either. He's a great leaper off 2 and a good jumper off 1. So that's where I'll leave it for today. If you liked this video, like and subscribe. Leave a comment on what other prospects you would like to see scouting reports on. I am starting to open up to the idea of doing non-Nuggets prospects, so such as Cade Cunningham or, Evan Mobley, those kind of players. So if you want to see any of those, just let me know, and I'll get that done. Thank you to Rose for the thumbnail. I will have his links in the description. He is going to be releasing a video soon, I believe. And also keep an eye out for a podcast with 3 Cone coming out. So, yeah. Also, Bulls My League will be out after the finals. Keep an eye out for that. Thanks for watching. Sorry this went on for so long. Bye-bye.